How do you guys hope to incorporate what you learned in country now that you're back home?
I just want to start off with a verse from tonight, Philippians 4:10-13. It says, "But I rejoiced in the Lord greatly, that now at last you have received your concern for me. Indeed, you were concerned before, but you lacked opportunity. Not that I speak from want, for I have learned to be content in whatever circumstances I am. I know how to get along with humble means, and I also know how to live in prosperity. In any and every circumstance, I have learned the secret of being filled and going hungry, both of having abundance and suffering need. I can do all things through him who strengthens me." So this is my second year going down there in a row, and both experiences were life-changing, to say the least. Coming back last year, I think the biggest lesson that I had personally taken was just a better understanding of financial stewardship in my own life. We had taken a group of kids out for dinner last year and bought them pizza. And these kids live on a trash dump, and they literally eat garbage to survive. And we were able to spend $17 of our own money to help these kids. And I can say with 100% certainty that it was the best $17 that I've ever spent in my life. So coming back home, last year I was really excited in my own personal life to really work on that area, and the Lord did some tremendous things. I took the Christianity 501, I think it was B or A, whatever one is in for small groups. But it was good, you should take it. So just a little plug for that class. But it really just changed my perception of what the Lord really desires in my own personal life. Then coming back this year, I realized, I said, well, I kind of did a disservice to everybody because there's so many amazing things going on in Brazil. And I talked about all these beautiful things that happened while we were there. But I didn't give them an opportunity to share in that. It was almost selfish of me just because, I received all these blessings from the time that we had spent with these kids and just a closeness with the Lord that I couldn't even really ever possibly imagine. And it was a beautiful thing to see, to talk about it a third time, because both teams have talked about it. But the song "Open My Eyes to Your Heart, Lord," we had an opportunity to go to the local church in this one community. There's about 7,000 or 10,000 people in this village. There's these incredible, huge, not potholes, what's the big ones that your cars can go into? Sinkholes? Sinkholes. So there's a lot of these sinkholes, potholes, there's all sorts of holes in the ground, right? So the houses had holes in it, the roads had holes in it, there was just holes everywhere. So we got a chance to go around this community and just see these kids and where they lived. And last year, there was this one girl that I know that the Brazil team from last year, we all loved this little girl because she just had this magnetism about her. I think she's like 7 or 8 years old. Her name's Bruna, and she would yell at you if you didn't roll your R's the right way, which clearly we didn't roll our R's the right way. So it was incredible just to kind of see her. And then we got a chance to see her little sister this year, who's kind of grown up a bit more, and now she's talkative. And these two little kids just have the best personality that you can ever imagine. One of them was kicked out of camp for threatening to kill one of the older boys. But they are incredible kids, let me tell you. But it was kind of a couple days into the trip, or actually it was really the second day into the trip. We were singing that song, and I just remember we were being sung in Portuguese, and Samela, the little girl, started singing in English, and it was just beautiful in a way that I can't describe. And then we went that night to service and a couple of us got a chance to share our testimonies, and got to go up on stage afterwards. And while the congregation was singing that in Portuguese, we got the opportunity to sing it in English. And there honestly wasn't a dry eye in the place, just because the lyrics, "Open my eyes to your heart, Lord, I want to see you." I think that was one of the first times in my life, that I could literally see the Lord working in a community of believers, in an area where there's so little, that these people have nothing, but they have everything because they have Christ in their lives. And I can't even begin to tell you just how amazing that was, just to be able to be a part of that, and just to be able to kind of give 2 weeks of our time to that community. And I think that really, coming back to your question of how do we want to incorporate it coming back this year, is just there's so much that these people need. I mean, they're literally the Open Arms as an organization operates at a deficit every month. So basically, this family has literally sold their house, their home, everything that they own, and have gone to a foreign land to impact this community. When we were there a year ago, there was 100 kids that they were ministering to. Now they're ministering to over 500 kids across these several areas. And the Lord is doing mighty things there, but they need help. And they're doing stuff with different ministries, whether it be soccer and swimming, or just they have several days a week. They have their programs. It's similar to Daybreak, and they have to. As they continue to grow, they need more funds, and they have this goal within the next 4.5 years that they want to be impacting 10,000 children. And in order to do that, they have to raise over $1 million. So there's a great need that's there, and I think that for me personally, a passion that I have in coming back is just really letting people know that they can make an impact. I mean, whether it's $25 or it's prayer or whatever it may be. I think it's like $145 a child is what the numbers break down to, that it would cost to basically take care of one of these kids for the whole year. And it's so minimal. I just think about, what do we spend $145 on in our life on a daily basis? And how can we use that? How do we invest in the kingdom? And I think that was just the big thing for me, is just seeing Eduardo, one of the kids that's opened up another one of their projects in one of their other communities there in Chapora. And in the last several months, 80 people have come to know Christ because of this kid. And this was a kid that was had been thrown in jail because he was like the leader of a gang and he was going to kill somebody. And he became a Christian and is now living in that same community where he was a gang leader and is preaching the gospel like you can't imagine. And for me, I sat there and I just thought, man, this kid has nothing. He doesn't have finances. I mean, he can barely have enough money to support himself. But he has so much. I mean, there's just such richness that's there because he's made such an impact for the Lord. And it brought so much joy to me in seeing something like that, because, I mean, I can tell you, I have not brought 80 people to know Christ this year. I mean, that would be an amazing thing. And just to know that that's what these people have committed their lives to and that they need our help. So one of the things that we did do was we pulled together a little brochure. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about the actual ministry, we specifically spotlighted their soccer ministry because it's an area that they need help with. Because it's growing. As you can imagine, Brazilians like to play soccer. I don't know if you knew that. But they do. And the girls are getting involved, the boys are involved, and it's a really cool thing just to really see how that ministry is making an impact in their lives. I know I'm talking a lot because I talk a lot, but I'm going to wrap it up with this. The guy, Coach Armino, which you'll be able to read about in the story, this guy, he was retired and had heard a message about how important it was to impact children. So he decided that he was going to start coaching. Didn't have any funds or any equipment or even a place to play. He found a local grain factory that essentially said, we'll let you use our field that we have in the back for these kids for 3 days a week if you want to train these kids. So he literally rode around this city on his bicycle, finding kids that were in the street playing street ball that normally wouldn't have any opportunities to ever be on any sort of organized soccer, and said, I want to train you. And not only did he want to train them, but he wanted to teach them the gospel. And he wanted to share with these kids the hope and message that Jesus Christ had came and died and paid for their sins. So he's gone out and it started up, and then he decided to partner with Open Arms to get some local funding support, and they went from 0 to 60 kids that they're actually helping in this ministry at this point, and it can continue to grow just as long as the funds are there. So there's a little bit more information about that if you guys are interested. I only have 75 copies, but if you're interested in more, I can definitely email it to you, and we'll be at the booth at the end. So it's just something to prayerfully consider. I mean, we are so blessed here in terms of the world standards. And I can tell you that they are so blessed in doing the Lord's work down there that it's just an amazing opportunity that we have to be able to kind of give back just a small portion of what God has given us. So we appreciate all your help.
Awesome. Before we open up to Q&A, Sam, why don't we show the video?